Okay, so before I started editing, so I was basically doing nothing. I realized, oh, hold on, hello, that's me again. So, I realized that what I should do is, put out a video every single week, in celebration for, the 4 years. Sorry, I had a brain fart. We post 2 videos each week leading up to the actual, birthday of my true, new, not really new, 4 years old self. And each thing will have its own little, heading for importance of that aspect of my transition. So, this video is going to be is, the story time of when I really understood and realized that my life was going to be different based on the decisions I made from that point on. So that's what I'm going to try to do with this little segment of 4 years celebration of 4 years. Yeah, so if you have any ideas that you want me to talk about in particular, let me know. You guys know. Comments, Instagram, Snapchat, blah 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 blah. Yeah. Hope you guys enjoy. Deuces. Wait, I didn't even say. Oh, I didn't even say. But what's going on, beautiful people? Now, deuces.
Perfect.
That was so bad. What's going on, beautiful people? So today, as y'all can see, I'm back and I'm better than ever. I mean, I've been drinking more water. Ready? I don't even drink water, so that was a lie. I usually go through maybe a bottle a week or so. So that was a lot for me. So during the time that I was gone, I was doing some calculations, right? Oh, let me just make sure alright, cool. I was doing some calculations because I believe this year on December the 15th makes it my 4 years on testosterone. I know, cue the music. Yeah, 4 years. Okay, I dedicated 4 years to myself, trying to improve my mental health. T gave me so much. Okay. I dedicated 4 years to myself. Been doing nothing but improving my mental health. I'm only trying to become the best version of myself. No, we scrapping this. Update, no rap. That's just too much work. Back in the days I used to rap. Had to end that lifestyle. Anyways, today's story is just the fact. It's just the fact that I've been on testosterone for 4 years. I feel like Obama with his 2 terms. But we've come a long way. I'm gonna tell y'all some obstacles that I had to overcome when I was first transitioning. Was the fact that it was gonna be I wouldn't call it a rude awakening, but it was at the same time, because it was from that moment my life had changed. Okay, my memory card abruptly just said full, so let me quickly get into this. I have to tell you some things. Let me turn this off. I don't know if this is gonna be better or worse. Yeah, so it really started one day when I was at overnight camp. I had gone to an overnight camp for roughly 5 years or so. At first, I didn't like it at all because it was completely separated between the sexes. Girls were all the way over there, guys were all the way over there, and as you can imagine, I was in the girls' cabin. And I was at this camp initially thinking, wow, I don't really know how to feel about being with all girls, because again, it was my first time being at a sleepaway camp. So it was my first time really, you know, embracing the female culture. And knowing me as a child, I was never like stereotypically aligned with females and how they move in the world. You know, I had a different mental agenda, just since birth, really. There was not like, there wasn't any influences of, you know, brothers or fathers and stuff like that that like over pursued that type of mindset on me. It was just always natural to me, just to keep that in mind. So I was always the tomboy of the group. They always threw around the word lesbian or stud or dyke and stuff like that to me. But for me, I embraced it because at least it wasn't female, you know, liking dudes. So at this camp, I was just like, I was presenting myself more as male. Guys would always come up to me, guys and girls would always come up to me and just be like, oh, you a girl, you a girl. And like, since I was younger, I couldn't necessarily be like, no. And also there was no like I didn't have completely male outfits and, you know, things like that. I still had the clothing that my family had provided for me. So it was just as masculine as I could make those clothing to be. So they would be kind of confused. I would have the hats. I would have either the hats or my hair were in braids, and people often would call me like Jaden Smith. So that's how I was looking. And so people would always ask, oh, are you a guy? Are you a girl? Blah, blah, blah. And I would always just be like, what does it look like to you? Like, you see me in the girls' cabin, so I don't understand what's the question. And this is way before transgenderism was even like fully apparent. Like, this is like, this is the time where Chaz Bono was, or Bono or whatever, was really like just making a name for himself. So that was that. And at first I hated it, but I loved the experience because I come from a predominantly white school, right? But I still live in Boston. So because of that, I'm culturally clashing every single day. So this camp was primarily full of black and brown kids. So I loved that aspect of it. And it was like the counselors, the staff were a bunch of Irish and Scottish people, British people and stuff. So it was like a good mixture, and it was nice and stuff. And the counselors were always embracing me for who I was. They would never push me one way or another. And they saw that I was different, and they respected that. So I like that piece of it. So I would continue to go. But there would be the time where we would have like a dance. So the girls had like a name affiliated to themselves, and the guys would have a name affiliated to themselves. And I would have to represent myself as that name, knowing it was representing the girls. Whew, I said a whole lot with a whole lot of nothing yet. So every day I would have to carry that burden on me of feeling not correctly aligned to how I would want to feel. And I don't know, it just did a lot to my mental, because everyone knew I was different, yet I was forced to be somewhere and think something that I didn't want to. And because of that, although I had so many good experiences, I'm still close to the people that I went to that camp with. But I basically gave, as if I had any power, I gave like the leaders of the camp or whatever an ultimatum, basically saying, I've been going here for years now, and I would like to be in the guys' cabin. If I can't, this will be my last year, because I literally cannot, I don't have the will or the desire in me to stay at this camp just to lie to myself, essentially. And they were just like, we can't have you be in the guys' cabin. And I was like, this is my last year. I love you guys. And I knew like the staff like the back of my hand. And like, again, this was 5 years. And over the years, I would be like an ambassador to the camp. So it kind of hurt when they said, no, it looks like you're going to have to leave because we can't compromise with you. That kind of, like, again, I was like maybe 12, I'm saying 12. I was like probably 12 or 13 years old at the time, and I was making this big decision for myself because I felt so true and so strongly about this feeling that I could not bear the fact that this is the box, or this is how they wanted to make me represent myself. So that was like the beginning, and this was, of course, after the whole Nick Nia thing. So I had some suspicions I was different. I, went more with the, oh, I'm just a lesbian. But I, obviously, a simple lesbian wouldn't just completely not go to their favorite camp in the world anymore because they were lesbian. It had to be something more. So that's when I really took the first stand for myself. And obviously kids my age didn't understand that, how weighty that decision was and how serious or severe my decision was, because they would be like, oh, just get over it, we love seeing you here, so just, suck it up basically. But there's a time where when you know your self-worth, and you know that your self-worth is a lot more in the long run. Like this would do a lot more damage to you in the long run if you keep buckling down and, taking shit for shit you don't need to be taking shit for, especially when you will be the catalyst to change yourself for the better, So that was that. There was other times where I had my best friends basically insult me, not, I want to say ignorantly, because they just didn't know, but I had to carry that. It was discouraging for my transition. Sweet, like when people would just call me confused. I mean, I'm only confused in math class. Calculus, that's the only thing I've really been confused about. I pretty much know most things, and if not, I educate myself on the things I don't know. So when they said that, I was like, so they would call me names, obviously. I have thick skin, so it didn't do too much to me. I would say what had hurt me the most is when one of my best friends had to call me a confused lesbian or whatever. Again, I was a little bit younger, so I had a little more feelings to me, but that was probably the biggest thing that had impacted me. Other than that, I remember I was walking in my area and I was passing pretty well. I typically just walked the way, presented myself the way I felt comfortable. And this group of girls, girls typically huddle up and, glance at me and like, okay, I'm not gonna lie, I get catcalled, right? So I'm used to that. Even back then when I was looking like a damn roach, I was still getting catcalled. So they were catcalling me. And, you get a little boost of self-confidence when that happens. But when I turned my head to them, I think they saw that my facial features were more feminine. So then they immediately switched and was like, oh, is you a girl? Cause kids back in the days, they rude as hell. So they was like, are you a girl? Cause you look confused right now. You looking like a dyke. And I was just like, I was over here from getting hollered at to being persecuted, basically. So I was just like, mind the business that pays you, okay? And keep it pushing. Cause we ain't want no problem, big fella. They were a little feisty, so they kept trying to follow me. I used to get that a lot, where I would have people staring at me, whether I was in the MBTA, in the train, and people would just be like, "Is that a boy? Is that a girl? I heard that this and that's friend," or stuff like that. And then I would either like, cause I'm a very confrontational type of person, so I would just be like, "Yes, I'm this and that. My name is this and that. I heard you talking about me. I'm blah 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 blah." So you can I was doing that on the regular, and again, that only forced me to mature more because of everyone else that wanted to be so immature of not speaking up about their questions or their assumptions. So I always felt like I had the need to clarify that, you know. So that's why I had posted on Facebook, it's like 3-4 years ago, of myself, and I had wrote something along the lines like, "This is my transition," and then it was like a song by Sam Smith playing in the background. You can hear my voice change and all that, and a lot of people were just like, "Oh, I didn't even know." Even the people I grew up with, they always saw me as a guy, so they hit me up on the side and was like, "Oh, I never knew you were a girl," you know, from the jump. And I was just like, yeah. So that was just like, people did not know, or when they found out, it made more sense to them. So for all those people that are questioning and stuff like that, I think if you have that type of approach, or not approach, but like if this is like your tendencies, like if you have the same tendencies or mannerisms as me growing up, it makes it a lot easier for them to believe or see this to be true for you. So keep that in mind. If you and I want to say, like, if you're a very feminine type of FTM, you're not trans, or you're not, you know, masculine enough. But like, for me, it's a lot easier for the cookie cut mold, because I was so masculine seeming and appearing and stuff like that. So that's why people understand my transition to be more true. So that's that. There's something I want to add to that last video in particular, is that I have a friend in particular that has been, like, his views and stuff can be so different from mine, but with that being said, he never hesitated to demonstrate love to me, even though I was in like the depths of like depression and stuff like that. He always found a way to make me happy and smile, even though he didn't necessarily believe in what I believed in this whole transition. And I don't know if he still does or doesn't to this day, but he never changed his love for me as a friend. And, you know, just shout out to him, because he really helped me get through the toughest times. Because I know when we were in 6th grade, we were in the same math class, and as MECO students from the city, being bussed out every single morning for like an hour to 2 to these predominantly white schools, he understood that I was already going through a lot with family and everything else. He would bring me like a whole bunch of his clothes that didn't really fit him anymore, and like a whole bunch, and he would just give them to me, like mad clothes, and yeah, like there's nothing I can say that really like explains or demonstrates the amount of gratitude that I have for him. Because like, for him not to believe in the same stuff that I believe in is one thing, but for him to go out his way and express his love regardless of the way how I feel and think and stuff like that, just shows a whole different type of love, you know. And he ain't my parent. He just a regular dude. Like, there's no strings attached to our friendship. He could have left with like, you know, hundreds, thousands of other people that did, but he always stayed true to himself and his morals, and, you know, his love for me. So he knows who he is. He knows who he is. And dude, I love you. You know what's up. I love you, dude. So yeah, just wanted to add that in. So yeah, shout out to you.